Like nobody can hear you, Jordan.
Keeping my mic right here.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of BeerNet Radio. We are laying down some Wednesday warehouse on a Friday. What's the date today? July
21st.
July 21st. Just 4 days away from the Distributor Productivity Summit coming up on the 27th, Thursday. Half day in the morning. You can go to beernet.com and get your tickets still. Jen is off today, so we decided to come in and film at what will be our old studio, which is just a corner in my living room. And so what we've done is I own a duplex, and upstairs I've had tenants, but they moved out, and we've decided to make that into our new world headquarters and offices and a new studio. So it's 2 bedrooms and a living room, so we're going to have a conference table, Jordan. We're going to have a flat screen on the wall. We're going to have 1 bedroom as a podcast studio, recording studio, and another office. We'll have desks in there if you want to come over and get some work done instead of fucking around with your dogs all day and your baby.
It looks really sweet. Harry showed me my setup, and I'm working out of a little janitor's closet up there.
Right.
But, everyone else's setup looks really nice.
I'll put a picture in the video for it. I'll still be doing some recording from this little conclave, but if it's just me or if we're just on Zoom. But look for that in the coming weeks. Wanted to talk about, let's talk about Anchor. Again, Dave Infante's done a great job of laying out what's actually going on. Check him out over at VinePair. And he's also got an independent newsletter called Fingers, which is really good.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's everything good beer hunting wants to be. But so, there's groups of people that are interested in buying either the brands or the brewery or both. A lot of it looked like it's crowdfunding. And then later in the week, the employees have gotten together and would like to make a run at it as a co-op. Do you think these have a chance, or do we have any indication what Sapporo's thinking?
I think everything is up to the liquidation process right now. I think that's what the Sapporo spokesperson said to the New York Times. I know Dave has been covering this. It feels like the Sapporo people don't want to talk to Dave. Happy to talk to the New York Times. And he said that they've received, I think, about a dozen or 2 dozen offers of, individuals or groups trying to make a run at the brand. And he basically said, we love to see the support, but it's kind of out of our hands and up to the liquidation process.
Okay, so they've hired a firm that's a liquidating firm.
Yes.
And just to get the most out of it. Sapporo should just give the brand to whoever has a plan for it, free, or take on whatever debts they have. As far as the facility, if they want the facility, Sapporo should just lease it to that person at market prices, which again is free in downtown San Francisco right now. So, yeah. I mean, it would look good for Sapporo. They would get good PR that the brand is continuing, and the brand and the brewery together ruined several fortunes. Co-ops, that would be great if that worked out. They're fine with if the company's making money. If the company's not making money, what are the employees going to give up their savings to keep it going? I mean, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing I worry about is whoever takes this over. I mean, it's going to be really tough to support this brand. There's a lot of people coming out showing support for it right now that it's on its last leg or is done. But I mean, Sapporo is a gigantic company and they couldn't even make it work, and said that we're just losing millions and millions on this brand. They tried to rebrand it. They pulled back distribution, and it is still struggling and has lost, over 100,000 barrels in volume over the past several years.
And some folks have said that's just because of the mismanagement of Sapporo. And they pulled back, but they did it like 2 weeks before they.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems I don't understand that either. either somebody wasn't talking to someone else within the company, or it was a plan that got approved, but then at some point they decided they're going to punt. I don't know. No inside information on that. But all right, well, we'll see. Next, Constellation is pausing draft again. And that is another interesting story because they paused their draft, the Modelo draft, for a couple weeks last month, and then they said it was fine. And now they've paused again, and I don't think they're taking any orders till, August or something.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's just Modelo. I think it's their whole entire portfolio, which is really, really rough right now because they have, a lot of jump balls to capitalize on in the on-premise. Right. And it's really unclear what the problem is. Upon the first kind of voluntary recall, if you will, I think they said, we're pulling them out of an abundance of caution and nothing was harmful, but they never really said what was wrong with the beer. And obviously that hasn't figured itself out. It seemed like they might have jumped the gun saying, a week or two, things are back in order,
to get through earnings.
Things are back in order.
Things are fine. Then
maybe we can't supply everything
earnings
you asked for. And then a week after that, they were like, okay, actually, you know what? We're going to have to just shut this back down for a little bit. So I don't know what's going on.
Because originally it looked to me like it was a shipping issue because kegs are hard to ship because they're unpasteurized, and they have a long line. They have a long way to go to get the beer up to New York.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it spoiled on the way, but now if they're just pausing, it might be something else. So we'll keep a lookout on that. We talked to some local salespeople for the Constellation distributor here in San Antonio, and they are really upset about it because they get paid on commission a lot higher on Constellation kegs than really anything else they sell. I'm sure that's going on all around the country.
And our local Constellation distributor is also an AB distributor, so they kind of need Constellation right now.
Double whammy for sure. And then the other news out of Constellation was that they have a new shareholder that they welcomed into the family, Elliott Management, who is notoriously an activist investor and not an amicable investor. And so I find it interesting. Now, they've gone out of their way to say that this is an amicable pairing.
Yeah.
However, I think, to me, this sends the signal that Constellation is getting their ducks in an order. And by that I mean, they've been on a wild buying spree for 2 decades, and they've been kind of like ABI, just more of a bank. So now, the big boy money is in the house, and it's time to tighten up batten down those hatches. No more flights off to the Virgin Islands on a weekday.
The Sands are also out of the house, and now they have somebody that runs a tight ship in there. And it seems like, now that Constellation and Sands have a little distance now, it seems like Bill Newlands is a little more he has a little more freedom in how he talks about some of their past deals, whether it be Ballast Point. He called Canopy a terrible investment.
I wonder who told them that on the day after they made that investment.
So you're right. They're getting their ducks in a row, and their stock hit an all-time high after that announcement. So,
and along with that announcement, 2 people joined their board. One from Mondelez, and one from AutoZone. Notably, they're both ex-CFOs. That tells me something too. That's another signal that they got to get their financial ducks in order. You don't just put random CFOs on your board, especially 2 of them. All right. So 4th of July, scan data came in. Looked like we had a great 4th of July. Everybody did well. Even AB did better. Not
better,
well, but slightly better.
Well, yeah, and some brands got back in the black. McUltra, Busch Light, I think even Natty Light for the week. There might be some holiday timing to that, but 4th of July was on a Monday last year, on a Tuesday this year, so it's not like, I don't think, that big.
To me, it added an extra day for a lot of people for the weekend.
Yeah.
And so that's like an extra selling day almost. That definitely pumped up the numbers a little bit, but it also just it wouldn't have accounted for all of it, I don't think.
No.
And it should be noted that while AB's trends did improve, their market share was the same. So,
right.
All boats rose on the rising tide. I mean, we don't even need to go into Carlos Laboy's report because it was kind of a rehash of the report he already did. But the point was that he doesn't see any signals that they're changing their culture. But it's only been a few months. I mean, changing your culture is a years-long thing. It's not something you flip a switch on.
Yeah.
But, there's Morgan Stanley gave AB a buy rating and on valuation because that's signaling to the market that the worst is behind them and that the decline in sales have already been baked into the stock price.
I thought it had died down, and the numbers obviously haven't improved outside of 4th of July, but it seemed like, at least in the media news cycle, AB wasn't the thing everyone was talking about, or politicians using it to win points or to incite anger. I thought after another news topic this week, the BI's compliance review board, after they shut down Cruz's complaint saying that AB was marketing to underage drinkers. What? No, that's not right.
Yeah,
underage people.
Underage people. I mean, underage monkeys. We're not. Nobody cares about dogs that are underage out there drinking.
Drinkers that are underage.
Teenagers. Yeah. The BI gave them a clear bill of health. So did the CPG, whatever marketing age. The marketing.
Yeah, group. And I thought that was it, but now DeSantis is coming out and trying to. I think some news outlet said that they're just using AB as a punching bag to just score
some political points.
Yeah.
On the cheap. It bears saying that DeSantis, the only weapon he has is to encourage the state pension fund to disinvest in AB, which who knows if they're even invested in AB in the first place. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of an empty threat. Biscuit finally stopped panting.
Yeah, she's chilling.
These
now.
mics pick up everything. These are called dynamic mics, Jordan. We will not be using dynamic mics. We'll be using condenser mics upstairs. Condenser mics are better.
Why is that?
It makes it weeds out the ultra high frequencies and the ultra low frequencies. It compresses the sound wave so that, like, if you go it won't be quite as annoying on a condenser mic as it is on this mic. So we'll be squawking like crows once we get up there, and nobody will care because it'll be all condensed up, and we'll have sound effects. And don't think I'm not going to use the sound effects. I can't wait. Don't tell Jen about the sound effects. I want to surprise her. We have a laugh track. We have a wah-wah. We have drums.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's like your karaoke mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Condenser mic. All right. Let's see. There was one other thing. Oh, Monster, Coke, Monarchy.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I wanted to ask you that I don't know if anybody has ever really cleared up, and that is whether Coke ended up compensating their bottlers for their Bev-Alc extensions. Right. I know that was something that the bottlers had asked for. It seemed like Coke was kind of leaning towards doing that.
Yeah. They call it an invasion fee, and they do it like if they're going to sell Coke through Amazon, whatever warehouse, the Amazon warehouse, if that's in a bottler's district, Coke pays them an invasion fee, something per case, so that they don't lose out on too much sales.
Okay.
And so I don't know. It may be that they've given them the secret promise, say, don't worry, you'll end up with these brands.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is if they are compensating them and the bottlers don't have to do anything and still getting money, if you're a bottler, outside of Reyes, I guess, you're getting some money without doing any of the work. Would you rather bring on more work and get a little more money, or just say, you know what, just cut me a little check right. and not do anything?
I think you would want the work and the brands. And the reason is because invasion fees are contractual. They can be cut at any time.
Okay.
And there's no disruption in the market. There's nothing. So if a new CEO comes along in 2 years and says, why are we paying these invasions? That's bullshit. Cut it, And if you have the brands in-house, it's like squatting as a renter. It's hard to kick you out.
Yeah.
So that's just my thinking on that. Coke and Red Tree Beverages have gone out of their way to say that that's not their. This kid, we'll pay attention to you after this, but that they don't want to be in distribution and they like the way it is now, and it behooves them to say that to the marketplace. And I don't know that they do have any intention, but they certainly are setting themselves up just in case.
Yeah.
They do have a license with Red Tree, and I think they're just wanting to learn more, get more into the market, and just learn about it. It's the same size as energy drink, as sports drinks, and that's a big market for them.
Yeah.
And it's all incremental. It doesn't eat into their non-alc, and that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
For a company that size, they own so many things that what is incremental to them? Nothing. No liquid that's non-alcoholic is incremental to those guys.
They might see the tiniest little loss from people buying less mixers when they're picking up
Right.
Jack and Coke, but
Right.
that's nothing to worry about.
Make it up on the high margin.
I think that's what the bottlers argued at the beginning when they were asking for some payment, was saying that, well, hey, if you're selling these RTDs, then people are buying less mixers, so we need some of that money.
Right. That would be interesting to quantify.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would be that much volume in the whole scheme of things. I don't know.
It's a fun argument.
It is a fun argument.
Yeah.
And if I were a bottler, I'd make the same argument.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, like the Monarchy deal, it's right there in the paperwork that there may be a time when they move all of it over.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the gist I got from that Bianca wrote up.
Are you doing that on purpose?
Yes.
Yeah. Great job, Bianca.
Yeah, I think Biscuit wrote that one.
No, that was our crack editor, Jen Litzkirk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that all applied to non-alc, but I guess it could.
Yeah. Are you a big Alani fan?
It's not my favorite energy drink. Now I'm kind of on the C4 Smart, the slim can,
Does it make you work faster?
No.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll keep trying. All right. Biscuit, have you had enough of this?
She's done.
We'll wrap this up. So don't worry. Jen Litzkirk will be back next week. I know that's why you guys tune in. But we'll see you next week. And, we'll start now that, well, not quite yet. But when it starts getting to fall and it starts cooling down, we'll have more guests on the podcast. It's just too hot to talk to strangers on the phone.
That's right.
I mean, am I not wrong? It's just
you're
too
spot
much.
on.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, favor, whatever the button is. We want to hear your feedback, honestly. We don't get a lot of comments, and I read every one of them. So please, drop us a line. All right. Take care, guys.